And welcome. It is Thursday, and we are slightly late, but we are here. Wait, no. No, we're not here. I misread my thing, and it's going to try to start an ad immediately upon we loading. So, quickly before it goes, we're going to head to Dread today. So I'm going to handle some inventory stuff, grab guild buffs and all that during the ad break, and we'll start once ads are over. Alright, and we should be back from ads. So we're going to do a quick check, because I expect we'll be hitting level 10 or 11 today. So we're going to do a quick check for some slightly higher level weapons. So show me 8 to 12 weapons. So Bloody Cleaver, not useful. How about you? 8 to 12 weapons. Nope. We got a bunch of caster weapons. We have a Chaos Blade, which is a Copish, which we are not proficient with. We have Green Blade, which is a Kukri, which we could use, but it's not really what we're looking for, since it's caster-based. And yeah, that's all we've got there. So, we'll probably end up picking up a Barovian weapon, or two, possibly. Well, picking up a second one is significantly more difficult than picking up the first one, so we'll see about the or two bit. But yes, so as I said just before we went to ads, we are going to be hitting Dread today. Now, unfortunately, the first quest in Dread historically has given me problems. Specifically, I can get absolutely annihilated by the first, or not the first, by the last fight with all the water elementals. We'll see how it holds up. Well, let's check existing groups, I guess, before we go in. Any existing groups? No? Okay, off we go. And one skull.
Foxpaw stands on the black sand beach, surrounded by wreckage.
And we've got a little bit of a whole intro section to be done.
Foxpaw doesn't remember how you ended up on this distant shore. So you tell him the story. A tale of pirates, a shipwreck, and an angry god. It all started back in Storm Reach. Foxpaw had sent a message summoning the device he had built.
Alright, so. This time my internet decided to blink at the very beginning of stream. So hopefully it only does that once per night.
Foxpaw had amplified the artifact's magical signature, creating bait to draw the pirates to you. Was this a bold strategy or reckless insanity? You were about to find out. A pirate made her way up from the docks.
Okay, so now we just kill some pirates, which is not a big deal. Just a little bit of murder as a treat. Okay, we're taking more damage than expected.
Then the mysterious stranger shimmered into view again. The pirates
and
instantly
this
fell to
bit
their
of
knees.
dialogue all
Strange
takes
feeling washed over you.
over a minute and a half. So we're just chilling now. Just hanging out.
You dare invoke the mysterious stranger transformed.
Let's look at background music is drowning things out a little bit.
Terrifying shape. Yet for some reason, you found
So we'll take that
yourself
down a tad.
unable to attack.
Gatekeeper. Pick that up.
As if in a trance, Foxpaw obediently retrieved the conch of secrets.
The Grand. You will be punished for your failure. But for now, that must wait. Let us finish the business at hand. Drow, give the artifact to this half-orc thrall. Take these fools to the ship, then prepare to set sail back to the island. Quickly, worms! This world's defenses are yet untested. I will personally deal with
We'll get to the quest eventually.
an examination is in order.
Oh, and of course, we heal because we teleported in the Side Reaper.
The effects of the god's magical
Right,
domination
yes.
wore off hours later. You awoke, imprisoned inside the brig of the pirate ship.
Talk to Foxpaw. And redo our rage. And these things are a little annoying, but fortunately, they're not paying attention to me at the moment. And Foxpaw, like all good escort NPCs, can't die. Well, at least not permanently. He can get knocked down and all, but that's not a big deal. Excuse you, we do not have an incoming ad break. Let's refresh this page and hope it tells me otherwise, that it's not about to run an ad because it thinks I just started. Okay, it is going to run an ad. We'll just have to take a break while it runs that ad, because unfortunately I can't just say, don't run it. I can only click the button that says, well, wait 5 more minutes. And since we actually want to wait like 40-something minutes, that's not going to be enough. So we'll just have to take a short break to refresh our drinks and all. Actually, I will probably snooze it once so we can complete this quest. And then I'll let the ad run while I run around in town and like just talk to all the quest NPCs and all that sort of stuff. So we'll use that as our ad break so that you don't miss any of the action. Come on, there we go. And hopefully it all works out well. Hello. Come on. So this is the part that can be deadly.
Hands on deck. The signal's up.
Not this pull,
Hold on.
but the one immediately after it. Because the casters can do a knockdown, and then the elementals do a ton of damage.
How did those bilge rats get out of that cage?
Fortunately, I have high cold resist, or water resist, or whatnot. See, there it is. You just saw those two cyclonic blasts go off one after the other. That's them doing chain crowd control. Everyone's favorite, where you get knocked down, and then you get knocked down again when you weren't even standing up. So, fortunately, we managed to avoid it this time. Which makes this fight feel very easy. It's very, like, all or nothing. It's like, oh, this is an easy fight. You just walk in and kill everything. It's like, well, yeah. As long as you don't get hard crowd controlled for the entirety of your health bar, you're fine. But if you do, you are, well, less fine.
Forget any thought of escape. The island has already teleported. And this ship...
Now we just have to wait for Vecna to talk to us, and then the ship breaks, and then we go to shore and whatnot. Then we will unfortunately run an ad break, because it's going to force us to.
I will attend to you in due time. For now, make your way on the Isle of Dread. If you can.
The crewless ship was now adrift. There was a sudden thud, then a rending crack. A gigantic creature reared out of the depths, shattering the wooden ship.
I never knew there was a note there. I just saw something sparkling and wanted to go see what it was.
Forced to swim for your life. Fortunately, the ship had sunk near that strange teleporting island. You soon found yourself near shore.
We were sprint boost in the water, which doesn't really help us much, but it'll make us feel better about it. So that's the important part. It's the placebo that's the important part.
And so we found
Alright, so there's our 10k. This quest is not very good as on an XP per minute basis. But now that the quest is complete, we're going to click this add button so that you don't have to watch me go through town and grab all of the quests. I will see you in 2.5 minutes. Or of course, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you are subscribed or anything like that, then you don't have to wait. You don't get ads, which is good. Though I suppose it means I should produce some sort of content that is helpful and a bonus for those of you who don't have ads, because right now it's almost like you're being punished for those who do, because we don't run anything while there are ads going. Which means you don't get any content for the intervening time. It's just very inefficient use, but I have not yet figured out how to do that, besides, well, at least continuing to chat for a lot of time. What do you mean my ad is about to start? I manually started it. Go away, Twitch. The worst best platform for streaming. They all have problems. Alright. So we have grabbed all of the quests. And this means we can go over here and get ready to do crab things. And I don't know why the sound effects of the hooves on the bamboo are just so much louder than all the other sound effects. But that's just how it is. Let's take a look at our weapons options again. Alright, so we are using Midnight Greetings and Scoundrel's Cutlass. Right. Because threat range is great. And yeah. So we do have Muckbane as well as a swap for oozes, because these weapons are not immune to ooze damage. I am considering that perhaps, just perhaps, I should have grabbed ferrocrystal weapons, because those are immune to the to ooze damage. Sure, we'll do a cold death ward.
The curse monolith is protected by a gigantic crab. Yet the Kopru also feel the dark energies protecting the crustacean.
Ooh, something hit me for 30. Probably the champ.
Just ahead, you spot the man you were sent to meet.
There we go.
Reeve, a former slave who has been freed from the Kopru's mind control. You approach a group of guards who stand at attention.
Right, and now we have to wait for these guys to do stuff.
They charge forward. You enter the natural stone.
Now, the trick is that I do not remember all of the answers here. I think this one is first and third, but I don't actually know.
See the curse monolith in the hands of a tall statue. You overhear a conversation between a Kopru lieutenant.
Now, of course, pulling levers takes you out of stealth, so it's not going to give us a whole lot. Oh. Wait, what am I helpless from?
Suddenly turns toward you.
Did they just immediately land Symbol of Stunning on me? That's some bullshit is what it is. Oh, and knockdown. Great, great. We're having a good time. We're having a good time.
And bars you from exiting the arena. The crab emerges from the sand. It rears up, exposing its belly.
The immediate knockdown was special, so we couldn't really pull anything. Oh, nope.
The Kopru lieutenant crumbles at your feet.
Alright, the first one is 3.
Reinforcements, the crab emerges from the sand. It rears up, exposing its belly. Now is your chance to immobilize the beast.
Alright, we are taking a ton of damage, and the annoying thing is I don't know exactly where it's coming from. So I'm having trouble with target prioritization. Unfortunately, we also don't have what? There's a lot of stuff we don't have yet. Maybe this one is first and third. Okay, it was first and second.
Emerges from the sand. It rears up, exposing its belly.
Alright, so the right one does the leftmost. Alright, we needed the right two.
The ballista's arrow clangs into position, ready to fire.
What's he in front of?
Emerges from the sand.
In front of one.
Rears up, exposing its belly.
There we go.
Now is your chance to immobilize.
Okay, well, that hurt a lot, so wasn't the best showing. Had to do a lot more fighting than I would have normally like, but we did manage to kill it. Alright, what did we get? Green Pine. Okay. Wait, did they have any bonuses on them? Mythic 1, not terrible. But yeah, we took a lot of damage there. Mostly because we ate a lot of crowd control in the beginning. The instant symbol of stunning before I got to kill anything, followed up by the knockdown when I ran over to the big corporate guy, was most of my health pool. Which is one of the dangers of going solo. Which is, at least if you're in a party and you get crowd controlled, someone else can kill stuff, so it's not just all alive beating on you the whole time. But that is not always the case. Not when you're solo, at least. So this next one is going to be a little tricky because there are a lot of slimes. Which means I might need to be using pretty bad weapons for a good chunk of it. But we'll see what we can do about just choosing to not fight. Unfortunately, there are enough enemies that we're going to get Dungeon Alert if we do that. So we'll see if we can balance those two different concerns, and hopefully it all works out, ideally. But we will see if it does or not. Reaper, public. Okay. Death Ward, personal buffs, including fire resistance, because there's a lot of fire in here.
Someone within the Tar Ogre tribe has been harnessing the power of the nearby Tarbits to create monsters.
Alright, and this getting body blocked a lot more than usual is also a little bit annoying. So this is something I think I've talked about before, which is that Dread is very good XP if your build is strong enough to handle it, because it is a big jump up in difficulty. And what I'm finding is that this build is just not great at handling it. It doesn't have the defenses. It has neither the defenses nor the AoE burst damage to really thrive here. So we're still gonna do it, obviously, just because I'm stubborn, but it's not gonna be as efficient as it would be on a different build. Let's see. You summon oozes, don't you? Well, no. They're just here. Okay, so at the very least we have our anti-ooze weapon swap. There we go. Okay, and swap back. Oh, more oozes. Of course there are more oozes. Why would I be allowed to have a fight where my weapons aren't being damaged? So one of them just hit me for like 30 something. Yeah, there are definitely some issues with how slow the game moves for new characters. Now, attack speed is generally not as big a concern because you can kind of see that as like learning curve. You don't need to like be shredding everything when you first start out, but definitely move speed is a concern. It just makes the game feel bad.
Then submerge.
Now, I don't have to deal with that because I have hand-me-down gear that has move speed on it. So I have 30% striding 100% of the time, unless I get slowed by something. But, especially on something like a new server or a hardcore server, move speed is quite annoying. Now, the good news is that if you know the game, it's not really a problem, because you go to Korthos, and you do like 3 or 4 quests, and you get a quickie. And then you click that button, and you get 25% move speed, and you're mostly fine from that point. Now, actually the third thing you mentioned is damage. I don't think damage is that big a concern, mostly because, as per your question on Tuesday regarding power creep, because if you're not doing enough damage or things aren't dying fast enough, you can turn down the difficulty to match. So that I don't think is as big a concern, but attack speed and move speed definitely affect the feel of the game and how it feels to play. So I think they're bigger concerns than the amount of damage. Now, the other thing about damage is just something that I think is inherent to the way the game works, so it's not really a good or bad thing, which is the relative power of different builds at different levels. Like, different builds will be good at different levels, or rather they will hit their power spikes at different times, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just a thing that happens when you have a lot of different builds. And the easiest example for this would be different caster classes when they get their first decent AoE spell. So if you're talking like sorcerers, well, sorcerers get the acid spray and burning hands real fast. They get that at level 1. They get SLAs after like 2 or 3 enhancement points. So they have something at level 1 that does AoE, which is good. It makes them feel pretty good early on, especially when you're dealing with like swarms of kobolds. Yes, then they get Scorch at level 3 or 4, depending. And then they get Fireball at 6. So they get stuff pretty quickly. Now, if you're like a Bard, you get enough enhancement points to get Shout at level 3. So out of the Spellsinger tree. So that's when you get your first spike, although they do have Sonic Blast before then, but it's not really that good. And of course Wizards have the same thing with Burning Hands and Acid Spray. They have the same progression. Clerics you're going to need about level 5, I think, before you get your Divine Smite, and level 6 before you can get the SLA for it. Or no, 4 or 5, because it's the 4th tier up, so you need like 22, 23 points to actually make it useful, which is level 5 or 6-ish. So, but then you've got, say, two-handed fighting classes, like, we'll say just a barbarian with a big axe. They just start up and they're like, hi, I'm just going to start wrecking everything immediately. And even if we're talking like the caster classes, they have a particularly bad level 1 because their spells scale with caster level. So going from caster level 1 to caster level 2 is double damage, in theory. It's not actually that way because when they designed DDO's starting gear, they were aware of this issue that level 1 is awful, so your starting robes give you 1 caster level. Yeah, they can also just use a big two-handed staff, or they can get the hireling. Just have Byron kill everything for you. Like, that's a perfectly valid solution for your first level or 2 as a caster. The thing is that big two-handed weapons aren't nearly as useful for casters because, unlike your melee classes, they don't have strike through, or they don't have the two-handed fighting feats, so they don't get like the automatic AoE on them. So they do damage, yes, but it's single target, and I'm mostly concerned with AoE. Well, we'll say once you get to Harbor, mostly concerned with AoE. Korthos is pretty good about only feeding you, 2 or 3 guys at a time.
Tyrannosaur eyes you warily, focused on protecting its kill.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of what other classes were like really slow starters. Now, obviously, a big example here is like the class that I'm currently on. Two-handed fighting builds tend to be weak early. Yeah. Level 1 guys with evasion are just like awful. Fortunately, most level 1 guys don't have evasion. But even if they make their saves and you're only doing half damage, that's still pretty rough. Here we go, Hail to the King. One of the best XP per minute quests because it's 3 minutes and it's like 20,000 XP. It's ridiculous. But yeah, your two-handed fighting and your single weapon fighters, tend to be a bit weaker due to a lack of AoE early. Of course, as we were talking about power spikes, later on in the game, they do absolutely ridiculous amounts of single target damage. They just shred things. So that is the trade-off that you have. Is you get a lot of single target damage later at the expense of a more difficult leveling path. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Games should have trade-offs.
Even back then.
And it does help add to the overall variety in the game. It's like, well, just everyone just starts out in AoEs, everything. It's like, no, some people start strong and fall off. Like, for example, Divine Nukers, your favorite souls, your clerics. They're super strong leveling in heroics. And it not so bad in early epics, too. But they do fall off in later epics. So... And then you've got other classes that really shine once you get later on. I think throwers are the more classic example of this. But to a lesser extent, your two-handed fighters are also the ones who shine later. Because generally speaking, you don't need a ton of single target damage while leveling. Most stuff doesn't have enough health to require it. And most of the time, you're not running hard enough content that it matters. So that's why AoE is kind of... Well, the two things that I will say affect leveling speed the most, and I've heard arguments for both of these, as per like which is more important, are AoE damage and move speed. And if you've got both, you're going to level pretty fast. I do not think I have both. I have some AoE damage, and I have good move. I have okay move speed.
Before you can learn more, a scream echoes nearby.
Now, some quests you can kind of cheese. It's like, well, I don't have that good damage, but I have good move speed, so I'll kind of cheat on that by not killing stuff, and I'll just move quickly. But then you have quests like this that are like, well, unfortunately, all the levers and doors that you want to unlock are locked by people's life energy. And so you have to kill them. Which is when you just start being more conservative, we'll say, with your boosts. Alright, Demon Soul definitely needs to die first. Oh, 2 Demon Souls. Excellent. Excellent. Hitting hard and putting dots on. I'm just going to kill this because you're healing. And go for this caster. Archon. Yep, once again, took a decent amount of damage there.
A quick survey of the fallen guards yields a key to the
Yep,
locked cell.
this is, I think I mentioned on a previous stream, Arboreans are one of the ones I learned while I was trying to do high-level solos, as they're one of the more dangerous ones. Because they ignore a lot of defenses. I forget which ones. I forget if it's like fortification or armor class or displacement or possibly several of them. They just ignore it. Like, they're going to hit you. And they're one of the ones that get a power-up when they're on low health. So as you saw, that random dude just hit me for 60 something. And we will note that we have like 80 or 90 PRR. So if I were on a low life character or just one with worse defenses, that might have been more like 90. Alright, take out the champion, we move forward. Skyborn goes down, soulless. I'm pretty sure I need to kill both of these packs for the door to open. So we're gonna do that. Yep. I don't know if you could hear that since I don't know the exact audio balance, but we did get a click when we killed the last guy, which means... Let's see. The level 15 in the Vale Town with the green cube. So presumably you're talking about Meridia? In like the Vale of Twilight, the Shroud Flaggers? Oh, which one had the gelatinous cube? I know there are cubes in which one? In the darkness one.
The captive points to the
I'm not sure about the others.
Several of their number were taken down it, and
But yeah, it's a pretty common thing.
then the former
It's not like every quest, but lots of quests have at least portions where you need to kill everything to advance. Alright, we're gonna pull a couple groups here. And we're gonna stop, because we ran into a Fear Reaper. And also, that Champion Raptor appears to be hitting me for ridiculous amounts of damage. So you might think, well, but why are we pulling extra packs if we're low on health? And the answer is very simply, because now we're near a Res Shrine. We have come here to be close to the Res Shrine. Creeping Death. Oh, that one! Yes, yes, okay. Not even one of the flaggers. The you auto die if you touch it cube. Yes, yes. That one. We'll rest for some life. Yeah, there are a couple places in there that you have to kill everything as well. You threw me off a bit because that particular cube is red, not green.
Be heard closing as you enter the chamber. A druid stands nearby, protected by a shield. When he spots you, he calls.
Your victims were our amusement. Guards, make quick work of them.
The druid
It's
watches
still a
as you
gelatinous
march
cube,
He mutters.
but that specific one is most definitely red.
Well, I have one more surprise in store.
Oh, I'm very surprised by this.
Gives way.
The surprise you had in store has gotten me.
Coated with a strange, slick substance. You slide towards the cavern opening further down the corridor.
Hello.
The slick passage gives way to a stone chamber. Marauders line the walls, cheering as you fall into the arena pit. Below, the Triceratops stamps its feet, awaiting your arrival. The Triceratops falls to the floor, barely breathing. Cursing your impudence, the Marauder Druid enters the arena. The Druid pitches to the floor, dead. The Triceratops...
Interesting. I didn't know that if you hugged this, that if you just stayed at this end of the spawns,
Cruel arena.
that the other guys don't really find you. They come out of this end and they're like, what? Never heard of this guy before. Oh, you still have to kill him to proceed. Well, do we? Let's check. Oh, we don't need to kill these guys to proceed. Go figure.
The Druid's influence. The Triceratops seems to be much more docile.
So if I just, like, hung out over here,
The wooden gate. And charges.
we could have just skipped killing those guys entirely.
A large wooded gate, opening a way for you to escape the arena.
Including the Reaper. So that's good to know if I'm ever having difficulty on a higher difficulty level. Oh, let's see. Do we want to take this route? Which one is this? Spiders and flies? Nah, we're going to take the recall route, where we go back from town and then we hang a right instead of a left as we leave town. Oh, interesting. Yeah, they do keep adding stuff. So, interesting about ESO. So, I tried ESO, I say briefly, but I did dump a decent number of hours into it The funny thing is, because I joined pretty late and I got it like as like a pack, it's like get base game plus like 2 or 3 expansions or whatnot. It was unclear what the main quest chain was. So I got dropped onto Morrowind to start with, and I went through the whole Morrowind chain through the end before realizing, oh, this was like an expansion slash side story. The main story quest is somewhere else entirely. And I never actually got back to it. Like, that's pretty much when I stopped. I played it essentially like a single-player Elder Scrolls game, with the occasional dungeon. And I got through the Morrowind storyline, and I never got to the main storyline. So, that is my total experience with ESO. It had like, the whole weapon swapping thing seems like it had potential, but I never looked into the theory crafting of it. It seems like it's one of those systems that's like designed to be complex, but once you actually look at it, you don't use.
Canyon ruins beyond this weather-beaten gateway.
Ah, the PvP. I almost never touch PvP in like MMO style games. If I'm playing if I'm doing PvP, it's because I'm probably in a PvP game, like a first-person shooter or a MOBA. That is when I will be PvPing. I don't generally do it for MMOs. Let's see if I can make this jump.
Just ahead.
Well, I definitely can't make the jump if I fail at my coyote time.
That must be the entrance to the hidden crypt.
So, does the weapon swap mechanic actually do much? Because it seemed to me like the way stuff was structured, it really wanted you to all in on one weapon, and then your secondary weapon was like, maybe buffs sometimes? Like, it didn't seem like you could get much out of your second weapon. Besides, like, putting things in slots, I guess. Okay, look, if you guys aren't gonna come here to fight me, I'm just gonna, like, ignore you and go forward. There we go. And now you're dead and I can move forward. You know, a lot of people have that to say about relatives. Okay, alright. Front bars for offense and back is for defense. Yeah. That makes sense. That clicks with what I'm vaguely remembering, because this was a while ago, so I don't remember it too clearly, but the tutorials made it sound like you'd be, like, swapping between your bars for, like, combos, and I just found that that was not really a thing. It was just like, I can buff, I guess? But yeah, it makes sense if it's for, like, defense, and that includes, like, healing.
Then water elementals form in the water below.
Oh, interesting. I guess PvP is, because it is, we'll say, less structured, there is more need to quickly swap between offense and defense. It did open. I forget if I was trying to tank or not. I usually try tanking, so I think I did end up doing swapping for that. Like, I'd swap for, like, a defensive buff or something. But, again, this was years ago, and while I did put in a decent number of hours, because it is an Elder Scrolls game and an MMO game, and the amount of time it takes to actually go through the entire Morrowind storyline while also doing, like, random side things like dungeons and whatnot. It was a decent number of hours, but I would say I like real time, I played it for like maybe a month. I don't remember exactly how long it took me to do that before I lost interest. But yeah, so it's interesting to hear that it still has an active PvP community, we'll say. There is I think like within the last year or two, I was getting a ton of ads for the new Elder Scrolls Online expansion. Like, they did a lot of advertising for it. I was getting like all over the place. So it's clearly still active, which is good. Wait, our music has stopped. Let us fix it. There we go. I'm fixing my music. Come on now. Yeah, so what is your weapon of choice? So you like, what do I remember? Like, there was a staff, there was sword. There's actually two kinds of swords, I think. For some reason, I'm thinking lance as well, or maybe it was like Holy Lance that was one of my main abilities, and Holy Lance was associated with a weapon. Because I don't remember the weapon itself being a lance. I remember I was like kind of Paladin-y, but I don't remember how I achieved that.
You find yourself in an old mausoleum. At the back of the room, you spot a crest atop an altar.
Templar has a javelin throw skill? Templar sounds right. That sounds like what I probably was. Alright, we're probably going to get mummy rotted here. Because we are melee, so we have to actually go into melee with the mummy instead of chipping it down from ranged. But that is the price we pay for high single target damage later. Yep, we got mummy rotted.
Managed to defeat the mummy.
There we go, and we did get the crest, so we're good to go on that front.
One step closer to your goal.
Okay. Let's get rid of some of that echo for you. There we go. A little bit less of the music getting picked up by the microphone. I don't know if you can hear it because it's quite faint as far as the decibels are concerned on the readout, but I know I've been able to hear it even that low on VOD review, so hopefully that helps. Audio is one of the most annoying things to have to mess with. You can be very picky about certain things, and it's not as intuitive as some other stuff. Especially since what goes out over the stream and what I hear are not the same thing. And like, there are some parts where, you know, that's obvious. Like, clearly, I hear myself speaking, but I don't hear what the mic is picking up about me speaking. Like, that's the most obvious one, which is why you often get streamers that are like, hey, mic's muted. Hey, mic's muted. The mic, it is muted. But like also the balance between like game and background and mic and all that can be troublesome at times. Now these guys I don't think have the door locked until you kill them. But they're accurate enough that you're gonna have a hard time opening it if they're attacking you. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So you came into the, we'll say, I call it the later generation of MMOs, but it's still pretty old. Something in here hurts a lot.
Your final strike fails,
Probably the beast mark.
opening your way to the west.
Let's see. Yeah, like if PvP is your main thing, then of course DDO is not gonna be your thing. Besides, as you mentioned, for nostalgia, but it's interesting the distinction you're making there, because PvE, or well, I guess not in DDO specifically, but in, we'll say in games that have a more structured like raid schedule that don't have like the TR grind and like the raiding grind is the end game, the obsessing about combat and numbers and stuff is totally a thing. Like especially nowadays with the amount of data people have on hand, like if you go to FF logs, you can see which Final Fantasy players are getting you can see their damage parses, and you'll see who is parsing purple, which is like top 1%.
This door is locked with 3 crests.
So not only are you clearing the raid, but if you're uploading your logs, then you get to see not only, oh yeah, you cleared it as a group, but you as the individual are in the top 1% of damage. How unstructured PvP is? Yeah. Now, that's being obsessive about damage numbers. Alright, I'm being body blocked again by the gargoyle that I can't damage because it's gone into regeneration mode. So that's annoying. But, let's see, where was I? Oh, yes. So, yeah. I will say that while DDO is not as numbers focused as far as damage parses go, because there is no damage meter that I'm aware of that works on it, you can really obsess about builds and combat in DDO. There's it's got some very complex builds. If you want them, they're there. I know at one point with the old Epic Destiny system, I did one of the Great Crossbow Legendary Dreadnought splits, where you're just like constantly doing crazy things. So that was fun.
When the beasts see you approach, they arouse themselves from their slumber and attack.
Okay. We can't move, and we can't dodge because we're being body blocked by the statues. But, at the very least, see, I'm used to being able to kill those guys through that pretty easily, but it's not the case with this build.
A secret door slides open, revealing a hidden cache.
Go, nice easy 24k.
You take the book from the pile and also help yourself to.
But yeah, PvP is definitely going to give you more variety replayability. Oh look, someone to ban.
Gargoyles roost in the canyon ruins beyond this weather-beaten gateway.
I'm relatively fortunate that I've never really had to deal with like unruly chatters being needed to be banned, just like people being assholes. So all of my ban decisions are very, very easy because they're ones like that are bots that are just like spamming advertisement links. And just like not even like ones that are clever or subtle. This is just like, nah, this is just like random line noise. It's like, they might as well be like, please open notavirus.exe. Okay, even the non-champions here are hitting pretty hard. Yeah, so because I was mostly in older content a bit ago, it hadn't really affected me that much, but going to Dread is really showing me that this build is significantly weaker than what I am used to running. Now, of course, there are many builds that will take a big chunk of damage when they jump into a double Reaper pack. But, you know, I'm not used to being half health after like 3 pulls.
The door opens, revealing a large chamber.
And if you're ever like worried about killing these things, like if they're champions or if you're on high difficulty, just run by. Just run by and hit the fake. They disappear when you hit the fake. Probably because if you hit the fake from the side, you fall down immediately, and if they were still floating up on the pillars and you were melee, that'd just be kind of an unfair situation. Come on. Oh, there's an Archeron, yep. He got low on health, he powered up, he hit me for 80. It's a little weird that the guys that you've already killed still have hitboxes. Like, see? Oh, didn't... Yeah, see? There we go. Hitbox still there. Oh, right. 2 enrage, 2 search for boxes. But yeah, I can definitely see that how ground AoEs might not be as useful in PvP. Like, I don't know what the PvP is like as far as like the types of things, like if it's King of the Hill versus like just arena, try to kill each other and see who dies, but I can see ground AoEs being potentially useful with like area denial, possibly, depending on the goal of the PvP mode. But you're right, like if it's just like a try to kill each other kind of like deathmatch mode, then yeah, of course, like they'll just walk out of it. Makes perfect sense.
This spacious chamber is strewn with what must be bullywug huts. A series of platforms rise above the floor. 2 large wheels with a series of sigils adorn the far wall.
Okay, we're just gonna smack these guys around a little bit more. Okay. Get a little bit more whirlwinding in. So yeah, there's a long history of PvP builds and PvE builds being quite different because of both that that point you mentioned about like ground AoEs and that sort of thing, but also a lot of differences just in the goal. So like maybe silence effects or certain status effects that most bosses might be immune to will work on other players. Or the most common one that I can think of is that PvP usually prioritizes burst damage, whereas like PvE boss killing prioritizes sustained damage. So being able to front load a ton of damage into a boss is not particularly useful. Like, it's good for clearing dungeon-like trash mobs, but you don't really care on the boss. You care about damage over the course of the fight. Let's see, blue is a triangle. But in PvE, where relative health pools tend to be lower, or sorry, PvP, then, well, if you can front load a lot of damage,
As the last
you've
signal
already
fades
won.
into
You don't
place,
need sustained damage if they are already dead.
echoes off the stone walls.
Well, yeah, it's not necessarily parsing, it's just like... It's usually more about how much total damage you need to do to win, which is much higher in PvE, because bosses tend to have more health than players. So a big burst isn't going to do as much as it will in PvP, where, like, well, a big burst might be all you need in order to win. Like, who cares how much damage you can do over the course of a minute if you can kill the person in 5 seconds? Or, of particular value in PvP, from what I remember, is getting your kill time as close as possible to your chained crowd control time. If you have a 5-second stun, then going from killing them in 6 seconds to killing them in 5 seconds is a huge difference, because it removes counterplay. But that's the sort of thing that tends to get nerfed, because people who are kind of game designing for PvP usually want there to be some sort of counterplay. Now, sometimes the counterplay is don't fight that thing. I know that this is the case for certain matchups in, like, MOBAs. Like, why can this assassin jump on me and kill me? It's like, because that's their job. The way that you avoid that is by not being in a place that's vulnerable to them. Like, they can't kill you if you're close to your team. By the time the fight started, you had already lost by being in the wrong place. Like, it's like from start to finish, I had no chance to win. It's like, yes, you lost before the fight began, because you gave them the opportunity to take a fair fight. The fair fight is not fair to you. Don't put yourself in that position. This is one of those things that, depending on who you talk to and whether they're, like, whether on the side of chivalry or practicality, but there is a sentiment among some that if you're in a fair fight, you have already made a mistake. Like, if you're going to be in a fight, it better not be a fair one.
Lever lowers. Several of the flame jets sputter.
Because if it's worth fighting over, then it's important enough that you need to win. And in this case, it's usually thinking about terms like self-defense. It's like, if you're in self-defense, it doesn't matter if it's a fair fight or not. You're trying to defend yourself from harm. Fight dirty. They are trying to harm you. They have given up the right to a fair fight when they started the fight. So, do what you can to protect yourself. Oh, we have a Reaper. Boop. I think the platform's here. Yeah. Yay, game knowledge. This is one of those things that you mentioned earlier about the speed of the game for new players. Or not necessarily new players, but low-level players. For new players, the bigger wall is that knowledge gap. That I can just say, I'm going to walk forward on this section of the room here on the left side. But why walk there? It's like, well, because the floor is going to fall away. And I know that, because I've run the quest a couple times before. But a new player is going to fall in a hole. Which is kind of part of the goal of DDO, really. Is that the new player gets to experience a pseudo D&D experience with, like, traps and, oh no, rocks fall, everyone dies. And we'll say, experienced players, or older players, or however you want to say it, well, they can just go through things more smoothly because of experience. And I think that's fine. Let's see. Final fight.
Bullywug barks orders to its comrades.
Immediately get hit for 30 damage. Alright, boss dead. And another champ that hits me for 60, but we are wearing a ring that occasionally gives us 30 temporary health. So we got that, which is nice.
A real solid monolith stands before you, resonating with magical energy. As you attune to the monolith.
Oh, Fimbrick. Unfortunately, long swords are not light, so we can't really use it much. But it is a nice sword if you're using long swords. Alright. Twitch is harassing me to run ads again. They're gonna run ads whether I want them to or not, so I choose when to run them so that you don't miss anything. So we're gonna run this ad real quick. We will not start the next quest until you are back. I will see you in 2.5 minutes.
The local bullywugs have
Ish.
transformed
Sometimes
the
it's a little
into
fuzzy on how long it takes. But we're gonna run through the wilderness.
Arrived at a new destination.
And, actually, we're not gonna run very far.
Pirates comb the
Because the next quest is right here, because it's pirates.
the items and people
So I guess we'll just
meet.
kill some random bullywugs out here while we wait.
Keep anything else they fancy. The pirates
But yes, so
so ordinary plunder.
I probably should have given the whole spiel about how Twitch does ads, since not everyone is as keenly aware of it as people like me who are on stream a lot. But I'll cover that once the ads are over. That said, we're just gonna run around here, kill some stuff. Wait, I wonder what happens if I actually do the crests in Heroics. Because if you're in Legendary, then you get the purple name. But the purple name's not going to spawn in Heroic, is he? It's time to test it. We won't actually summon him until everyone's back from ads, of course, but... Especially because I don't have to climb anything, and both crests are just on the ground like this. We're going to grab them and see what happens. Now, if he does spawn, I'll be at a bit of a disadvantage because my imbue is lightning, and lightning is not effective. He's in fact immune to it, or at least the legendary version is. So we're just going to run over here, we're going to kill a golem or two on our way, and we'll see how things go from there. Interesting. They are weak to acid. I did not know that. And you can tell it's weak if you're not familiar, because the damage numbers are purple. That is the indicator for weakness. Orange is like normal damage. Yellow is reduced damage. So if you're not used to the color... Oh, you can actually change these numbers, these colors if you'd like. It's in settings. Alright, welcome back from ads. So, I didn't cover this before because the timer was pretty tight, but Twitch kind of makes a deal, and they say, if you run at least 3 minutes of ads per hour, we won't run pre-rolls on your channel. So, I run 3 minutes of ads per hour, so they don't run pre-rolls on my channel. And pre-rolls are ads that run like as soon as you click on a stream. So, in order to make it so that when people click on the stream, the first thing they see is the stream instead of like a block of advertisements, we're good. Also, Twitch wants to run the, they're going to run ads anyway because that's what they do. And as long as I control when they run, I can make sure that it's not like at an important part of the story. So, while we were away, I went and grabbed the crests because when you do this in Legendary, a purple named demon pops out. And I was like, wait, there's not a purple named guy in Heroic, is there? And we're about to find out. Oh, no, there is. He might just kill us, though. Yep. Well, okay. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Now, the fun thing about this is that one of the main abilities he does, not the one that does the red damage, that one, the one that does the green damage, that one, you're immune to it if you're in an undead form. So if you are on a class that has an undead form, and you stay at ranged, he will just spam that on you, and you will be immune, and he is the easiest kill of your life. I'm just gonna try to heal cheese through this. Oh, my healing per minute paid off there. This is absolutely not worth it. I would not recommend doing this in heroics. It's just taken me forever. But I summoned him, so might as well get rid of him. I can't just be irresponsible and leave demons wandering around that I summoned. I mean, I guess I could. D&D is full of stories like that. People experimenting with powers beyond their control, and then those powers kill them and wander the world to seek their vengeance on just random people. But, you know, we need to be a responsible demon summoner and clean up our own messes here. I just didn't think they would do a purple name in heroic, but I guess I am wrong. Gives nothing useful in heroic, so even less reason to run it in heroic. We will have to top ourselves off before heading into the quest, I think. Because I believe that they removed the auto-healing to full when you enter quests. So we'll just wait here for like 10 seconds or so until we can heal up. And I'm not too worried about the mana because we don't really use mana that much in the first place. There we go. Close enough. And on we go to Pirate's Point. Now, the keen-eyed among you might have noticed that we have gotten enough experience to get to level 10. But we don't want to get to level 10 because these are level 7 quests. So we want to stay at level 9.
A group of pirates surrounds a man matching the description of Doran at the hall.
Okay.
When Doran looks up from his forced
these
labor,
dudes.
noticing you approach, his face
We need to
glows
talk to
with
this
hope.
guy.
The last of the pirates holding Doran captive have been
Ooh, White
defeated.
Bear.
Doran waves for you to come speak with him. Doran says that
It's a little annoying that you saved for the trip, sir.
You'll need to sound the camp's alarm, then fight your way past the guards. Once inside, you'll need to find the
chest.
Commodore's hut, where the monolith is kept. He also said that many islanders have been captured by the pirates, and
That
asked you
was
to
not
free
where I
them.
wanted to throw that,
The
but
gong
okay.
rings out. The massive gate nearby pushes open as guards rush out of it.
Alright. Sorcerer over here. The wind-up on that is really annoying. There's a reason why Whirlwind Attack is best when using fists, because the fist animation for it is much, much faster. Of course, it does leave the opportunity for some interesting playing, like you can run away, and then you can start casting it, because by the time it goes off, they will have caught up with you. So you can do some stuff like that, but that's really kind of niche and not super useful.
Time to find the Commodore's hut.
Excuse you, I wanted to throw that potion down where it would splash on me. Thank you. Kill another name dude. Unfortunately, it's a named Archer dude, so people are running all over the place. Oh. They're being unusually friendly about grouping up around me despite being archers. So at least we've got that, except that this dude hurts a lot. Now we could undo all of these traps for like bonus XP, but we're just gonna not. Now, Flameborn is not generally like one of the rougher ones to deal with. At least not on a build like this. They do have death blocks, so if you are a DC caster and you're trying to Finger of Death them, then they are one of the worst ones. But at least they only have death block and not also mind block, so at least you can still cast hold and stuff on them. And this is information that I never really had before I played a DC caster life or two, because honestly, which ones have death block and which ones have mind block and or blank mind or whatever it's called, you don't really know or care until you're trying to cast spells and they don't work.
The Commodore has stashed the monolith that you are here to find somewhere inside this place.
And then you learn, it's like, oh, okay, the Fey ones are immune to all enchantment spells, good to know. And all sorts of other stuff like that, okay? Alright, and the Flameborn are immune to death spells, and the Necrotic are immune to death spells, and you start learning what's immune to what. Or the other option is you just get confused and you think that they have like high saves, when the actuality is that they are just immune to that entire school of magic that you're trying to use on them. Okay. I'm mostly killing these groups because I don't want Dungeon Alert in the last fight, because the last fight has a decent number of ads. So you can get Dungeon Alert if you leave all this stuff alive. Notably, I did leave some stuff alive just right there as well.
You won't lay a hand on the monolith or a single coin of my treasure.
Alright, so now we kill these guys. I probably should get Elaborate Parry to have some sort of defensive cooldown for like, oh, there's a double Reaper pack or something like that. Because it's not that long a cooldown. It's like a 90-second cooldown.
Even more visibly frustrated, Commodore Elena draws
Probably worth getting. It is 3 points, but I've spent 3 points worse. And I've forgotten what exactly I'm building towards at the moment. Oh, that's right, and this is one of the nice ones that... Oh, wait. Some of them looked like they fell over when she died, but then they got immediately back up. I thought that these ones were supposed to die when you killed the boss, but I could be wrong.
You've attuned to the monolith. You're one step closer to bypassing the curses protecting the Forbidden Temple. One step closer.
All right,
to leaving
one more
the
quest
Eye of
down.
Dread.
Well, it looks like I was just getting some sneak dice. Was I just trying to get more, Oh, look. A named guy. It's not going to give me any, like, decent loot, but it's a free 700 XP just standing there. On an XP per minute basis, that cost me what? 5 seconds? 8 seconds? 700 XP in 5 seconds. That's a lot of XP per minute. If we could do that continuously, it would be the best grind in the game. But alas, 'tis not the case. Particularly since it's not repeatable, and, you know, you don't just get a bunch of rare red name uniques just like back to back next to each other. I'm trying to think what damage types I would take in here.
Marauders are camped around the crumbling ruins. Summoned here.
Yeah, see, Fey Touched. Fey Touched are one of the ones that you cannot use things like Hold Monster on, because it is a mind-affecting spell, and they are immune to those. So, we're gonna head to the right first. We're gonna ignore that door.
Show recent activity. This decrepit structure has been neglected.
Hello, Aviator. Welcome.
Moss grows on the walls.
We're doing some dread today.
Smell seeps in from deeper inside the complex.
Oh good, we landed the trip, so we don't get a ton of charisma drain. Unfortunately, we appear to be unable to hit them, so we're still going to get charisma drain. Oh, and there was a poison dot guy there amongst the host, which does make things a little more awkward for us. But we will get by. Now, I've skipped this guy before because he doesn't actually activate. Like, you can pull the lever without killing him. Unfortunately, as you can see in the quest thing, it says, eliminate all Kupru in the crumbling outpost. Which means, yeah, you can skip him, but the quest won't complete. So, that's the downside. So, we don't skip him anymore. I have learned that lesson. To be like, oh yeah, I don't need to kill this guy, I can just pull the lever without killing him. Except that killing him is a quest objective. So, that's a terrible plan to skip him. These undead are going to chase me, but we're fine with that. And let's see, back left, back left. Demon Soul, very painful. I cannot wait to get deflect arrows. I forget what level I get it at, but it's really nice to have deflect arrows. And of course, because I am in Tempest, I will get deflect arrows every 2 seconds instead of every 6, which makes it even better. I'm pretty sure it's a free feat, but I forget what level I get it at. I have 1 Kukri and 1 Scimitar. Because I have Midnight Greetings and I have a Scoundrel's Cutlass from Three Barrel Cove. What do you mean I'm not facing it? It's right there. So, I will probably want / need an upgrade next level. I'll probably grab a Barovian, either Kukri or Scimitar. The thing about Kukri is that if I were going to use them, I would need to rethink my build and go into Standing Knife Fighter, because they have a lot of Kukri benefits. So I will probably end up with Scimitars. That said, I might not. I don't know. Okay, we've taken Constitution damage, we've taken Charisma damage, we've taken damage. More Charisma damage. Taking Force damage. Alright, we're gonna run away and heal ourselves a little bit. Okay, we're just gonna go around a corner for a second and heal ourselves. But yeah, so we're probably gonna be Scimitars. But I haven't checked for like level 10 to 12 sort of weapons that I'm gonna be using. It's is a little bit up in the air. I was not expecting the shot for 80 from the Corpru in there. Yeah, at this point, I just want enough that I feel I can not get 2 shot. There we go. Now, I should probably also grab something like Pharaoh Crystal, as I was talking about this earlier, but I want something that I can use on oozes. Now, obviously, one solution to this would be, well, go 2 points into Feydark and just enchant them, and then you can use whatever weapons you want to kill oozes. But I don't think that I get magical training by default as Dark Hunter, which means I would need a feat in order to do that. And I don't want to burn a feat slot for that.
Sea turtle clan stand in the clearing tended by marauders. The voice.
Alright, he hit me for 60 force. 60 force again. That's a lot of force damage. Alright, we got a little bit of temp health from our ring, which is nice. I mean, it makes sense that the new Dragon Disciple gets magical training because they do magic. That's like their whole thing, isn't it? Magic monks. So I guess it makes sense that the magic monks have magical training and can do magic. Put 3 AP into Feydark just for ooze immunity, but I thought fist weapons already had ooze immunity for some reason. I mean, I could just be straight up wrong about that. Ah, you'll be quarterstaff. Then yes. Yes, quarterstaff can benefit a lot from making weapons take less damage. Last time I was quarterstaff, I was Tabaxi Trailblazer, so I had their thing for no weapon damage. And it was very convenient. Alright, and we get to rest before the last. So yes, Feydark is very nice for that. And I think I read somewhere that they moved the attack speed for quarterstaffs from the capstone down to similar to Rogue, where it's like in the first tier. So that'll make things much more convenient as well. Like, so you don't need to like dip Rogue or go pure monk in order to get your quarterstaff attack speed. So that'll be a welcome change. Although some of the changes are less welcome that I've seen people complain about, but they did not implement the centered with favorite weapons idea. Unfortunate.
One final Koku stands in the shrouding mist of the water.
Okay, Soul of Cruelty, bad. Alright, we're body blocked, but we managed to kill it anyway. Alright, so this one took me a while because there were multiple times that I just took a lot of damage and had to like go slower and heal. So that was a pretty slow run, all things considered. Yeah.
Then the whisper
Which doesn't bode well for some other quests, but
falling water.
yes, centered Blade Forge would be weird. Warforged have issues with being centered in the first place, don't they?
I set about collecting some of the remains of this codex, attempting to disguise this by
okay.
employing a dim-witted denizen of the Feywild as we scan the multiverse constantly, searching for new places to take the island.
Yeah, I've seen a couple theory-crafted builds, not for Dragon Disciple specifically, but for caster builds in general,
A whole group of planes had suddenly
that were looking to utilize the caster level as equal to character level. Or at least equal to heroic character level. I don't think it doesn't count for epic and legendary levels, I don't think, from what I remember. I mean, if it did, that would be wild, because everyone could get a ton of extra caster levels. Basically everything would be capped by max caster level at that point. But still, it's an interesting way for them to, I won't say incentivize, but to enable more multi-class casters. Because right now casters just really don't do well multi-classing. I mean, yeah, you still do. But what I'm saying is it doesn't change your base caster level to like 30 and then the plus for the epics and whatnot. Like, if you have a level capped character, it doesn't move your base caster level to 34. It's still 20 plus, you know, all the epic stuff. Right, okay. I could definitely use a second AoE attack, because just Whirlwind is not great.
As you splash into the water, something in the pond responds.
They made the max caster level 30 what? For what spell? For what ability? Oh, nothing gives additional caster levels. Yeah, max caster level is pretty rare, all things considered. Most classes only get, like, I want to say 2 or 3. Like, Sorcerer used to get more, but they pulled a lot of it. And I want to say Favored Soul gets, like, 3, Cleric gets, like, 3, like, there's not a lot of max caster level stuff just floating around.
You see the deranged Ankylosaurus pacing near the huge tree nearby. It seems upset. You've put the beast out of its misery.
Oh, hey. Boss died before the ads. That's convenient. And a little odd, but convenient nonetheless. I need to double check the tooltip on my immunity stripping. Because as a trap, it feels like it should be AoE. But I don't know if it actually is, so I'll need to look at it. Alright, and we get remnant chests, which are always nice. And a decent chunk of XP, which is also always nice. This is another one of those that's really good on an XP per minute basis. Oh yay, Brightbane. Command 4. But yeah, I haven't looked into Dragon Disciple too much. Wild Mage 8 for acid stripping. No bad surges, some good earth for acid. Oh, okay. So I haven't looked into Dragon Disciple that much for like what their spells actually do. It's like, I know that they are magic monks, and I know that like a couple of the other monk-related changes around them, but as to like the specifics of what the tree does, I think I read through the enhancements once and then immediately forgot them. So I'll have to look at it more once it's all kind of figured out. Well, not necessarily figured out, but, you know, at least decided on what it's going to be before I look into how to potentially use it.
The interior of this vast tree is obviously inhabited, and the inhabitants are not pleased to see you.
So is it going to end up kind of like Eldritch Knight gearing, where you have to really decide if you're going for back-end numbers or front-end numbers? Alright, so, yeah, that's right, I was looking at this. Toss a smoke grenade at a single enemy. Okay. So it's the same as the rogue one, it's just reflavored.
The center of the tree has been transformed into
Oh,
a
right,
vast
these guys are immune to,
multi-level
to
complex.
lightning. Fortunately, I'm not too reliant on my imbue
Stop
damage.
your incursion. You hear high-pitched voices calling for help from somewhere ahead.
There was some talk on the Discord, I want to say a week or two ago, regarding what just has high fortification versus what has sneak attack immunity. And like the only thing I could remember that I knew had sneak attack immunity was earth elementals.
Anxious pixies.
I know there are other things, but I don't know what they
Beg
are.
you to free them from their bonds. The grateful pixies ask you to also free their tree friends. Tropical birds. The sound of it.
Oh god. I'm gonna be jumping around a little bit more for packs because I've realized that just standing and swinging at packs is just a bad idea because I don't have any strike through or anything that I'm trying to lay down. Almost all of my damage to the pack as a whole is in whirlwind attack. So I should have reasonable for both. Interesting. So it is imbue based for the magic part then. Okay. It's going to be lesser Eldritch Knight. Why? Because Eldritch Knight has like much better dice.
Comes from the lower pack.
Let's see. I think this is going to be my last one here, isn't it? Because the only thing left after this is the capstone one. I really should like carry haste pots or something. The lower attack speed is super annoying. Okay, we took a ton of damage, but it's okay. Okay, yeah, Eldritch Knight does get more universal spell power. Wait, does that mean that... Wait, if it gets similar dice, does that mean that Dragon Disciple is another one that just gets more dice based on how many levels they have in the class? Because that's relatively rare. Right now, the only people that have it are Eldritch Knight and Alchemist. Alright, I need to free 5 more. And 2 of them are at the end. So I missed one of the groups of 3 here. Alright, we're gonna go all the way up and then around to this place. There they are. Alright, so wait, it's supposed to be all slimes, constructs, and elementals? Or anything with fortification? Okay. So that is already misleading because there is a difference between not taking critical hit damage because of fortification and being immune to critical hits. So that is misleading from the wiki, because that is not how that works. Because there are things that even if you had like 1,000 fort bypass, you still can't crit because they have both high fortification and immunity to sneak attacks as a separate trait. And I know earth elementals are one of them. I am confident that that is, in fact, not true. So it appears to be just saying, like, what won't take crits. And bundling that in with things that are immune to sneak attack. Or whatnot. But that is not the same. Unfortunately. It would be somewhat simpler if that is how it worked. But that's why we have things like Assassin's Trick and whatnot. Because sometimes Fort Bypass isn't enough. Yeah, so just like Assassin's Trick, this has the same thing. They lose their immunity to sneak attack and 25% of their fortification. Like, the smoke trap tooltip is very clear that these are two separate stats. They lose immunity and they lose fortification. So, yeah. Effects. Alright, so it does, the wiki is kind of correct in that it says, can partially break this immunity. In that it doesn't break the immunity. It gets rid of one thing that can make them immune. But there are two different things that can make them immune, and therefore it is insufficient for some mobs. I think that your experience matches mine in that there are a lot of like undead and oozes and whatnot that as long as you have Fort Bypass, you're fine. You can crit them. Like, no big deal. But some things don't work that way, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately. Depends on if we think that the added complexity is a good thing or not. That's true. Although you should be able to bluff and use deception weapons even when solo. Like, that's one reason why I have like Midnight Greetings, because it's got deception on it, so it can proc a bluff and just be like, hey, now you take sneak damage. Okay, yeah, that's only one quest left. Alright. Alright, and he does not want to go to Sentinels, so he left party. Alright. We are going to go to Sentinels. And we're also going to repair our weapons on the way, because I forgot to do it at that vendor, and my Midnight Greetings is at a low amount. So we're going to head to House D. And we're going to do the Sentinels chain, which will get us the Pirate Saga. Hello. Hello, yes. Send me to the quest, please. If you didn't know that, there's an NPC right next to the quest giver there, who sends you to the wilderness area. So, it's very convenient in that way. I didn't know about that until, we'll say, relatively recently, so it was a nice thing for someone to inform me of. So that was good. I should be able to get all of Sentinels done without level capping. I'm not 100% sure it's going to complete the Pirate Saga for me, though, because I think that I skipped Garl 2? And Guard Duty, for that matter. So, we might end up having to circle back to do Garl 2. But that's not so bad. That's a level 7 as well. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We'll do Fire Resist. Oh, Guard Duty's not part? Okay. Then yeah.
The kobold dashes off the instant you approach. It looks like the blood tide.
I figured if I'm only missing one, then I'll VIP it. But then I was like, wait, Guard Duty too. So if I'm missing more than one, then I can't. Okay. There we go, take care of them. I think I have the jump for this route. There we go. You don't need a ton of jump for that route, by the way. It's not like some of the ones that it's like you need max jump. You need like 38 out of 40 jump to make it. Come on. Why am I...
The soft lights and
It's like, why am I being slow?
suggest that this
I don't have Dungeon Alert.
are
Alright, now I have Dungeon Alert.
do.
And now this guy's hitting me for like 80. Alright, we'll just toss some heals as we run, just to kind of heal ourselves up a bit. I want a higher proc chance on my belt haste. Because having slow attack speed just feels bad, especially on like a dual wielding character. Like just slowly swinging one weapon then the other is just like awkward looking and feeling. You might be, but I've been doing mostly racial lives, so I haven't spent a lot of time in epics. So I'm not too up on what is popular as far as whether or not people take dire charge. We need a ranged weapon. Hit the one with the crystal below it, not the other one. I said the one with the crystal below it. Thank you. There we go. All right.
Could this be the general
Take you out
manager?
first. Then we'll go for this one. Oh, it's Beast Mark, so I'm not able to take it out as quickly. But it's okay. We'll manage. Yeah, this build is fairly weak compared to most others that I've done recently. This is the downside to Tempest. Before level 12, it's really just not good.
The manager is dead, and the bargain bazaar is in.
Of course, it's not the only quest that struggles with that sort of quest. It's not the only build that struggles from that. Oh, 3 Fear Reapers at different corners is not ideal, you'll say. It's an increase in difficulty. All right. Spits me out right here, so I can just go this way easily. And we can storm the beaches. Alright, off to the passage. This quest might be difficult for me, but we'll do what we can do. And if we have to use our gibbers, then we will gibbers. And hopefully we'll be at a spot that we can actually get to a shrine. I probably should have taken this route on this build. This route has more AoE stuff to handle than most others. which is not what this build is good at. Well, technically this build is good at basically nothing right now. It's not particularly durable, it's not particularly high single target damage, and it's definitely not good AoE damage. Just because, as we were discussing a little bit earlier, about different builds and having different power spikes, this one has a fairly late power spike, all things considered. What would I say is a good endgame melee power? I know some people are getting up to like 400 or something, but I don't know what they're running. But like just unbuffed standing in town, I don't know. I know 300 is a pretty common target, but I don't know all the bonuses that are coming in to actually make that happen. Now, a lot of it can be just like small things adding up. Like, let's say you have Mythic on all of your gear, so that's like 3 melee power times like 12 slots. Well, that's like 30 melee power. That's a lot of melee power, but it's also a lot of luck to get that much on your gear. Or same with like Reaper bonuses, obviously. But there's also there's a lot of stuff you can do with filigree to get there, particularly if you have rare filigree. Rare filigree also add up a bunch. Okay, took a big shot there, but it's fine. Ah, I remember to shield wand this time. More layered approach. 250 AC, 40 dodge, incorporeal displacement. Yeah, but that's on the defensive side of things. Melee power is offensive side. But also, you're going to have to take a more balanced approach because, as you mentioned, you mostly solo. If you're talking to people who, on the forums, who are like mostly running in groups, and there for damage and don't need to take hits, then obviously they can let their defenses slip a little bit more to squeeze out more melee power. So it's just a matter of finding the right balance, and their balance might not be the right balance for you. So it's just another thing to consider. But I think a lot of what goes into these super high melee power numbers is like a lot of small effects from like rare filigree, mythic boosts on gear, reaper boosts on gear, etc. And none of them are very big, but there are enough slots that they can go into that it really does add up a lot if you have it on like even half of your gear. The dual filigrees? Dual filigrees are tricky because you kind of have to raid for them. They are also known as raid filigree because that's the source of them. And now obviously you don't need to get them to drop. You can buy them with threads. But threads come from raids too, so we're back to that issue. At least in Heroic, the Ballista don't, like, fight back. Okay. I'm trying to think which soloable raids give give threads. Because, like, obviously Chronoscope is soloable, but I don't think it gives threads. I know Master Blades is soloable on lower difficulties, like Legendary Master Blades. But it's not an easy solo by any measure. Also farming greater tokens. What are you using the greater tokens for? And my shield spell wore off, so now I'm taking a bunch of damage from magic missiles. Excellent. Really? Is Thunder Peak just a brute force thing? Because there is the mechanic that they like go immune when they're close to each other. How do you manage to get around that? Or is it that they don't go immune when they're close together, they get enraged? And the immunity is just for phase transition? Right, Tempest Spine, soloable. Oh, and ads have started. So we're going to chill. Thunder Peak on Chaos Mancer. Strips immunity. Wait, it strips the actual immunity? Like the raid mechanic immunity? Not just like their base elemental immunity? That seems like it's not supposed to work that way. Oh, interesting. It definitely doesn't sound intended, but if it works, it works. It's not like Thunder Peak is really like the cutting edge of content, though. Which ballista did... Oh, that's right. There's one up there, too. Anyway, we're chilling here because ads started. Zuavi's event. That gives threads. I know it gives greater tokens and all, but I didn't know that one gave threads. Neat. Alright. We're going to be right back since ads are playing, so I'm going to pop over to BRB real quick. Okay, and we're back from ads. They kind of snuck up on us, but not to worry. We have not done anything while we were on ad, besides talk a little bit about raiding and refilled a drink. So, where were we? Oh, yes. So we were talking about... Great. So what are you using the greater tokens for anyway? Yes, I know. You don't get ads anymore because you subscribed. I suppose I should chill that harder, but I'm not really too pressed about getting subscribers. It is, of course, appreciated, but not at all required. Ah, okay, so that's what you're getting your greater tokens for. I think that's the only time I've used my greater tokens too, is making my master's gift. Hello, open the door for me, please. Notice me, senpai. Notice me, come try to kill me, please. Thank you. I appreciate your futile attempts to kill me. Oh, right. Upgrading items too. I think I might have done that as well. Oh, where has Buddha died? Okay, we should probably ask him where he died. I mean, I have red scrolls. I can't use them very well. We'll see if it's somewhere I can actually get to from here. This quest isn't the most friendly for backtracking. We can refresh our buffs while we wait for him to type that out. Do you have anything in particular that you're looking to upgrade to Legendary? Like, I've upgraded a couple Sands pieces to Legendary. Like, I upgraded the Trinket that has, like, all of the physical damage stats. It's got, like, hit, damage, Seeker, and one other one. Deception, maybe? Oh. Well, he has died twice, so we're just gonna let him handle his deaths. We will grieve him later, I suppose. And improve Tricked. My storm is growing. Alright, fortunately the quest doesn't end when he dies.
Captain Grimm is dead, leaving you to ponder the meaning of his final words.
He has not answered my question on where he died, so we're just gonna move on with completing the quest.
With the dimensional anchor shattered, House Beneath Wizards can now safely teleport.
And now we're gonna die to this trap. Oh no! Or, you know, you could stand behind the chest and avoid it entirely that way. Where is he, anyway? Oh, he's, like, in the water outside. Okay. But yeah, upgrading items to Legendary. I've done a couple, not many. I did my Fjarlin Cloak for a Spell Absorb item. I did the one I just mentioned, like the Bloodstone Trinket thing. I upgraded that. I upgraded another piece of that same set, the Bracers of Deftness or something. The other one, so I could get the set bonus from that trinket. And that might be the only 3 I've done. I might have done another one, but I forget which. I don't use them that much, obviously. But yes, it's pretty good, actually. I like that pairing. Alright, Blacklock. Our music has stopped again, so we shall fix that.
Dripping water reverberate through the caves of the Black Lock.
There we go. Alright, what do they cast in here? They cast, like, cold stuff in here, I think.
You ready yourself for the upcoming battle against the Necromancers and the undead pirate.
And we run. Oh wait, no, we need to kill these guys, I think. Oh, that's true. I don't think I've made a legendary one. I have an epic one. I don't know if I ever farmed enough of the what? The little drop tokens. Bronze tokens? Whatever the random mob drop is out there in Sands. I don't think I ever farmed enough to grab a second ring in order to upgrade it. But I did upgrade one to epic, but I don't think I ever upgraded one to legendary. And I don't think you need greater tokens for the epic upgrade step. Wolf Whistle? I didn't do Wolf Whistle. I've never done like a summon type build that needed it. think this is one of those doors that you need to kill guys to open, but even if not, we'll just say that I'm trying to keep Dungeon Alert down and use that excuse for why I missed kills. I was going to keep running more, but then there was a Reaper, and the Reaper needed to be handled. But what also needs to be handled is this Arborean guy. Now, this is not like the lusty Arborean maid. We are not talking about the story of Lifts Her Tail. This is something else entirely. And much less pleasant. What is the main benefit of the wolf whistle? Like, doesn't it just, like, summon a dude? Alright, strong summon. Alright. So it just doesn't just summon a dude, it summons, like, a dude.
This vile green key may prove useful later on.
Stupid light bearer. You made me look bad.
A small keyhole.
Ooh, Dino raid summons. I've heard good things.
Perhaps you can find a key that opens.
I know at least one person who has actually made a summon build that relied on... I think it got nerfed because certain stuff started to not stack. But, like, they had the Dino raid summons, and they had the wolf whistle, and they had the raid ooze weapons, or the raid ooze augment from skeletons. I think that was the one, because, like, there's one of them that will benefit from summon strength, and one of them that won't. And I'm pretty sure they were running, like, the primal mantle that gives imbue mantle stuff to all of your summons as well. Honestly, I should try it at some point. It's an awful build from what I understand, but it's worth attempting, I suppose. That said, there's nothing to stop you from, like, tacking on summoning to an otherwise mediocre build.
This key is colored a rich red. You can't tell whether
Just
the color is
because,
stains,
well,
rust,
there's a lot that can be done. And there's not that much you can do for summons, especially as far as heroics are concerned. Like, it's gonna consume a lot of your points and your tree decisions in the side for the Epic Destiny trees. But in heroics, there just isn't that much stuff that's good for summons. So, I don't know, like, what would you want? Like, Harper's got some stuff. I know Enlightened Spirit Warlock has some decent summon stuff.
oblivious to your presence. You notice a small red keyhole in the door.
The main trick is, like, what you do in heroics, because there's enough generic good stuff in Legendary that doesn't really control what you're doing. It's all a matter of what you can do in heroics. And I don't think there's that much. Just be Frostcaster. It's like, that's definitely an option.
From here you can see
I don't know if I've ever done a Frostcaster, to be honest, so maybe I should add that to the list.
deserted.
Let's see, is Little Buddha joining me? He's still not at full health, so it looks like he just released and is healing from existing in town. So it looks like he's probably not joining me for Blacklock. Oh, our shield has worn off. I mean, you do have to run Primal Mantle, which is not ideal for, like, a nuking caster. But, you know, sometimes you make sacrifices to make your meme build less memey. And like, at least partially effective. obviously the other way that people do it is, in addition to summons, they'll have like all of the expansion hirelings. So you go in with obviously your summons, but also you go in with 5 hirelings. And between the various things you can get to buff them up, they can actually get relatively tanky, at least as far as like fortification and health are concerned. But I haven't actually calculated out how to do it. Hi, I know you're hiding here. It's not a surprise. You can say it's a surprise, but it is not. Now, the Fear Reaper being in this corner, that one's a surprise. That I did not expect, but we managed to get past it anyway, without too much difficulty. That's what you have going on now, the one with all the hirelings? I don't know if I have many of them. Like, I think I have 1 or 2 of them. Of the gold seals, like, from expansions. I think I have the Vecna one. But besides that, I don't know if I actually have any. Well, that's right, the Avatar T5 summon, the Summon Monster 9. Well, Summon Monster 9 assumes you're in a casting class that can cast Summon Monster 9, but actually, that just means that you need to be one that can cast level 9 spells, because there's both a divine, because you're either going to cast like Summon Monster 9, or you're going to cast like Nature's Aid 9, which is basically the same thing, but with different kinds of guys you can summon. Oh, you got the Myth Draenor one? Nice. You know, I'm thinking of maybe for the next life, because the, I forget if it was the VIP reward box or one of the Year of the Dragon things, but one of the rewards was a 12-hour 50% XP potion. So I was thinking that at some point, not this life, I would go on probably either Bard or Warlock and try to do a weekend stream where I go 1 to 20 within a single stream. Like, chug the potion, basically try to speed level as much as I can, and see how long it takes me to just go all the way from 1 to 20 on something that I know is, that I both know how to play, have gear for, and is strong early, as opposed to having to wait until being level 12 to be strong. Could be interesting, because I've never actually tried to do like a speed run 1 to 20 in a day thing before.
No sign of concern about what awaits him. He simply stares blankly ahead.
Obviously, it would be ideal if I planned ahead and maybe like recruited a party for it, because there's so many quests that go so much faster if you have more than one person. Sounds awful. I mean, it won't be that bad. Obviously, I would cheat by, like, the day before, taking care of all of the prep work, getting all of the XP gems I would use, all of my gear swaps all the way up, like, all that. And then, day of, it would just be all leveling all the time. What? Oh, there's a Famine Reaper on me. And a dude hitting me for, like, a bunch of damage. Had a committed group of 6 already. I mean, it's a little different on hardcore because it's like first life characters and all that. But yeah, as a group of 6, it should be not bad. Iconic does make it somewhat more straightforward, yes. Alright, we are rank 49. So we are on target. So we should be able to do the tide turns and then immediately take 10 and hit Temple of Elemental Evil, which might be tricky because, as we mentioned, as I am learning tonight, this build is not as strong as I had hoped at this level, but hopefully it picks up. And I'm actually confident it'll pick up because I've played a Tempest type character before, but on that life I was iconic, so I started at 15, and it's a lot better at 15. Oh, you always do iconic for that reason? It makes sense. Now, I am planning to do my assassination rogue life because I haven't done one before. I am planning to do that on Shader Kai. So that will have double benefit of not only will I start at 15, but even if I didn't start at 15, I would have chains. So chains make the whole, it's like, oh no, I'm 2-weapon fighting, it's so annoying, I don't have AoE. It's like, nope, hit the blender button. And then you hit the blender button, and everything dies. And you laugh at everything. Wait, I do need one more rogue life, right? Yes, acquired 2 times. I do have 1 rogue life left. Well, then again... oh, yes, I was about to say. It isn't acknowledging past life stat boost to be able to get 2-weapon fighting. Really? That's odd. I realized it had to be light weapons. Yep, that'll happen. Like, how low did you set your stats, though? That shouldn't be a problem unless you were, like, really cutting it close. Because two-handed fighting, you don't need that much. You need, like... by the time you take greater, you need 17? So unless it also isn't counting your tomes, in which case, well, that's a problem. Or if you, like, if it's not recognizing them at level 1, well, that's known. That's like, it never recognizes them at level 1.
After the sounds of battle die away, the door to the armory strong room sweeps open.
Started with 10, have 4 from tome at your level. Ah, I see. I mean, you can always just delay it and take a different one of your feats at that level.
Dust is the stench wafting up from the pipes. Foul water from the leaking pipes covers the floor of this room. The rats,
Like, let's see.
pay the filth no mind.
But I'm trying to think. Like, at level 9, you would have 4 feats. So you would have two-handed fighting, you would have power attack. And then, I don't know, it depends on what else in the build is going on. Like, if you're on something that gets a lot of the bonuses, and by the bonuses I mean base attack bonuses, then you can have improved critical. Which way was I going? I was putting on Featherfall and going up. Alright, where am I? Oh, here I am. Okay, I can't grab that. Because I am low on jump. I'm very low on jump, actually. How do you get through this area when you don't have jump? Well, first of all, you have to actually hit the jump button. Okay. Swap to ooze-beating weapons so that we don't break our scimitar. That is unfortunate. I was thinking that if you could delay it slightly, then it might work. Okay, so this is how you do it if you don't have enough jump. You have to get over here to this ladder. Oh, wait, I need to pull the other lever. They were probably thinking of the non-past life feats. Or they changed it. But yeah, like, completionist stuff should count. Wait, regular two-hand fighting at 11? Wait, regular only takes 13 though. You already have 13. Regular takes 13, improved takes 15, and greater takes 17. So if you're already at 14, then you could have taken two-hand fighting at normal takes 15? Am I mixing it up with like power attack?
The filthy steam tunnels. Find yourself in the grand office of House Deneth's
Interesting.
accountant.
I know power attack takes 13. But okay. I guess I was off by 2. Interesting. Alright, let's put our main weapons back on. I really probably should have stopped at an inn to get rid of this mummy rot that I've had since like halfway through Dread. It's like, do we want to cure the mummy rot or just go through everything with mummy rot on? No, that's right, I don't have evasion. I actually take damage from doing that. Unfortunate. Get back here. Is Whirlwind good on two-handed builds? Two-handed builds usually have enough AoE that you don't need it. Like, I'd definitely take Spring Attack. But I don't think I would prioritize trying to get Whirlwind on a two-handed fighting build, because its main thing is like, hey, you get AoE, but if you're two-handed fighting, you already have more than enough AoE. Especially, like, if you're staff, you should already have, like, at least 1 or 2 staff attacks that are AoE on their own.
The Deneth mercenaries below cheer at your victory.
I'm considering getting Spring Attack. Oh, my shield wore off. And the Famine Reaper was very kind to remind me that my shield had worn off. And he reminded me by hitting me in the face
He must have escaped
for like 100 damage. Which is, it's a good reminder. It certainly makes a statement. Excuse you. So I assume that by 2H you meant two-handed, because that's what we were talking about in chat. And two-handed fighting is, of course, you know, using one weapon with two hands. If you're asking if it's good with two-handed as in, like, using both hands to fight and two weapons, I grabbed it because I wanted some kind of AoE, and I am glad that I grabbed it. That said, it's kind of awkward if it's not wraps. Just because the animation isn't great. But it's better than not having it, probably. Like, if I were optimizing, I might say, oh, maybe I'll feet swap it off later once I get, like, better AoE and I don't need it anymore. But for now, getting it at level 6 has been very helpful. So, I don't know if it's good long-term, but it's definitely made the leveling process better. More palatable.
This door leads out to the very top of the tower. This must be the part. The tower's exterior.
So yes, we have lots of things to do.
The infamous Crimson Moon, flagship of Captain Tew's fleet, fills the sky.
Excuse me, sir. You're blocking the door. This isn't even an FPS. We don't need to get on the door stuck memes. Alright. Here we go. Ha! I pulled the lever before you could interrupt me. And we can stop to fight stuff because there's a bit of an animation thing that goes on. The doors to the next section don't unlock for a little bit anyway.
A doorway leads into the tower's uppermost chamber. You hear
but I would
screaming about the
100% take Whirlwind Attack on a hand wraps or fists build. I took it here, as I mentioned, just because leveling without any AoE is a giant pain. But, as I said, I would not say that it's recommended for two-handed fighting, as in holding a weapon with two hands, just because those builds normally have lots of AoE already and they don't need another button. My favorite build to play for Heroics, Epics, and Endgame. Okay, so I historically have liked charisma-based casters. I've played Bard a bunch of times. I played Warlock a bunch of times. Like, in general, I like casters more. I've also played Inquisitive a lot. So, but for Heroics, I want to say it's going to be either Spellsinger or Warlock. They're very close. Epics, once you get to Epics, then you get some more interesting stuff. You know, I want to say it's probably still Spellsinger. Warlock tends to fall off in Epics. And at Cap, I think I have had the most, we'll say, fulfilling stuff. It's close. Because at Cap is when, like, the actual DPS builds really start to shine. It's when, like, I've had Inquisitive lives that have been, like, just really effective at getting stuff done. And things like that. So it starts to really compete with things like Bards and all, because Bard does fall off on its ability to do things besides support at higher legendary stuff. Or at least it did, or at least it does when I'm playing it. Oh yeah, Eldritch Blast is great for Heroics. It does fall off even with some of the newer support it's gotten in Epics. You know, I can get a second Midnight Greetings. I could also get a Deneath Heavy Chain. It's not really worth it since we're going to be 10 now, but I'll grab a second Midnight Greetings. Just for fun. Is it better than Scoundrel's Cutlass, though? I think so. I might be wrong, though. Oh, right. The main thing is the damage dice. The Kukri is 1d4 and the other is 1d8, which is a pretty hefty difference. Alright, so we're going to go sell and repair, and then we're going to take level 10 and head to Temple of Elemental Evil. But that said, I've played every class through Heroics, which is not to say I have played every build through Heroics. Like, I take that back. I have played every standard class. I have not done all of the archetypes yet. Like, this is my first Dark Hunter life. But I played all of the base classes through Heroics. But there are still things that I haven't done, which is just wild considering how many different lives I've done. But Studio keeps adding new stuff. And that's even before you consider the build possibilities of multi-classing. So that's a whole other thing that you can do. We're going to remove him from the party. He disconnected. All right. And we'll take 10. Hello. Advanced next level as Ranger. Search. Spot. UMD. Swim. Oh, that's right. We'll do Abjuration. Or Aberration, rather. Not Abjuration. Abjuration is a spell school. Monk archetype is right around the corner, yes. And let's see. So, level 10 means more Reaper points, though it doesn't mean a cap on the amount of health you can get. That comes at next level. We wanted Wisdom. We don't get a ton out of the spell power, but at least we get positive spell power for healing, so that's nice. Next level, we'll get another 100 max hit points, so that will be nice. We get to spend points. What are we spending points in? Well, medium armor, we gain exceptional bonus and less damage from traps, which is okay. Is there anything else on this tier that we really find useful? I mean, I could go here for imbue dice, but that's like 9 points for 3 imbue dice. That's not particularly efficient. We can get more hit and damage here. We can try to start going up here for our thingy. Because we're not even wearing medium armor, we can delay this. That's fine. I think we're gonna we have 5 points, so we'll get a tiny bit more damage, and we'll get elaborate parry just so we have a defensive cooldown to hit, even if it doesn't give us a ton. And do we have more spell slots to prepare? We do. Alright, so we can prepare another spell, which is good. And then we will go see about grabbing ourselves a Barovian weapon. So, you, healer. Remove curse. Remove disease. There we go. And what do we want for our next level 2 spell? I think the only one in here that is useful to us at all... Alright, there are 2. We have protection from energy and bark skin. And I think bark skin might actually be useless. 93. Still 93, because it doesn't stack with natural armor that you get from gear. So we're gonna get protection from energy. And yeah, so that's it for that. Now we're going to run one more quest before we head into the Temple of Elemental Evil, which is Invitation to Dinner. And we are probably going to get our ass handed to us by some wisps. But we'll see. We will see. House J, very good. I was going to take the teleporter, but since the entrance is right here, we can take that. And off we go. So the main reason we're doing this, even though we are under level and all that, is just we want to grab a Barovian Scimitar. Step into the mists. Yes, yes. And obviously, if we only want the Scimitar, we could actually just run it on normal so we can get through, but if I'm going to be running it, I might as well run it on Reaper and get that done with. Alright, so we're going to resist fire, protection from fire, resist electric, protection from electric. Those are the main spells. We'll do acid as well, because I think they cast Burning Blood sometimes. Alright.
Spot a corpse in the grass near the abandoned cart.
Now we go and fight wisps.
The wisp leads you to a small graveyard, then vanishes. Whispering voices call to you from
Get back here.
below.
And my protection from fire is already gone. Fortunately, these guys grouped up, so we can whirlwind attack a little bit. Get back here. Alright. Not only are the wisps being problematic, but they're also being annoying for the purposes of game mechanics. It's like, hit the dude in front of me. No.
The last of the wisps
Okay.
fades away.
Come on,
The
game.
forest is silent.
Try to behave yourself at least a little bit. Oh, that's right. And because I hit level 10, my past life healing went up again. So we now get...
He asks. So you hear howling.
I haven't been on Lamania,
A
no.
raven cries somewhere overhead.
So I've read a little bit about the new monk stuff, but I don't really know very much about
So many
it.
scarecrows to
Like,
guard
I
over
know
in
the
middle
general
of the forest.
concept of it as like a magic monk,
Straw men keep away.
but beyond that, not really.
You hear a branch snap behind you.
Alright. I am not immune to fear, which is annoying. Stupid scarecrows.
The scarecrow clatters
Alright,
to the
and
ground.
you do actually need to kill all of these wolves
Realize you can hear noise
before the
from
next thing will
trees,
activate.
The same way you came.
There we go. These guys won't activate and start attacking you until you clear out that pack of wolves. Okay, we're gonna try to do what we can here. Use elaborate parry because we can do that now. We managed to make our save against the fear, or he's chosen to not use the fear, which is always handy. But yes, from some discussion we had in chat earlier about the new monk, it appears to be kind of similar to Eldritch Knight. So if you're familiar with that, they do like a lot of damage with imbue dice and things like that. And yeah, I don't really know much more beyond that. And they get like magical training, and they lose, I want to say, the ninja spy tree. So they keep Shin Tao and the quarterstaff tree, whose name escapes me at the moment. Henshin Mystic, that's the one.
What's the first thing I remember?
So they've got that going
It
for
was
him,
my
which is
papa
nice.
calling out my name.
And let's see. Hello.
Irina! He'd shout whenever I wandered too far away from his side.
Barovian Scimitar is
When
what
I
we're
was
looking
little,
for.
I thought he was just being silly. Now I know what he felt.
Like, we could,
He
like,
was afraid.
Kama and Kopesh, we are both not proficient in. So we could have got a Kukri, which is 1d4 and has this stuff. Or, and the Kukri is, yeah, 15 to 20 times 2. Or we could go for Scimitar. Where is it? Scepter. Scimitar. Which is actually 1d6. Oh, that's why the Scoundrel's Cutlass is so much better. It has improved dice on it. Interesting. Okay, so we'll take this one. Barovian Scimitar. Thank you. We will use that to replace our Midnight Greetings. We did get Eld's Edge, didn't we? Yeah, but that's not really what we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to put these on. Barovian Scimitar. Significantly better for most things. And yeah. Alright. So now we can head out to the Temple of Elemental Evil. Yeah. I think that's what we'll do. Yeah. It looks like it could be interesting. Oh, we have... It's telling me 4 minutes before our next ad. So we are going to run that now while we're running over to the quest. I will, of course, not start without you. Twitch wants me to run ads, and I like to choose when to run them so it happens between quests so no one misses anything. So we're going to be gone for about 2.5 minutes unless you've got like Twitch Turbo, Twitch something or other, Twitch something else, or you're watching on YouTube, or you have a subscription or anything else that might cause you not see ads. Everyone else, I will see you in 2.5 minutes. Feel free to stand up, stretch, get a drink, grab a snack. We will start Temple of Elemental Evil once everyone is back. Alright, are they gone yet? Let me tell you about those suckers who watch ads. Alright, where are we going? We're going to Marketplace. Oh, you know what we can do in the interim? Something that we forgot to do. Do I stream full time? No, absolutely not. I have an average viewership of 2 to 3 people. That is insufficient. Insufficient to make any sort of living off of. You know what? I'm gonna get a peek behind the curtain. So, you know what? I'll do that once people are back from ads, because I don't actually know if Need More Chai sees ads or not. So, I will answer that question once ads are over. Alright. So we did take a little bit of a side trip here so that we could get our special feats. Special feats. There we go. And we can double check our music in the meantime. All right. Let's see, where are we going? We're going to Temple of Elemental Evil, of course. Let's head to Temple. Probably going to get our ass kicked, but that's fine too. Alright, part 1. And over here, part 1 of part 1. And we're right on time. Got like 10 seconds left on ads. Okay, so we had a question come in just before ads started. Also, of course, welcome back. Do I stream full time? And I didn't see precisely when ads started for if I got my answer out. So the answer is no. My average viewership is like 2 to 3 people, which is not enough to live on for all of the obvious reasons. In fact, to date, I have never received a payment from Twitch because if you don't make a minimum amount, you don't get any money, which is just how that works. So Twitch doesn't have to spend a lot of money spending like 50 cents in postage to send a bunch of people checks for 5 cents. So, in fact, I will now check live on stream. Let me see. Can I see what they would pay me, like what my current payout is? Where would that be? You know, if I were a full-time streamer, I would probably know where to do this. Oh, here it is. Earnings. Let's see. Okay, so if I were to take a payment right now for the total money I have ever earned from streaming in Twitch, it would be $7.11. That is how much I would be making total. I think it resets at the start of the year. So from streaming, I am making approximately $3.50 a month. But yes, into the Temple of Elemental Evil. Oh, I should probably change my title, eh? I'm no longer killing dinos. But no, the other way to answer that question, of course, is not so much on the professional side of things full-time, but on the amount of time side full-time. In which case, my current schedule is that I stream twice a week for approximately 4 hours-ish each time. So that is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:15 to 8:30-ish until midnight-ish Eastern Time. I actually just now got around to doing what I should have done a while ago, which is actually posting my stream schedule into Twitch, so that if you look at my Twitch page, it tells you what the schedule is. So that is one way to do things. I often will toss in one random, what is known as guerrilla streams or off-schedule streams on just some random other day in the week. And those are usually not DDO, and historically, those get no viewers, because they are both unscheduled, and they don't show up for what people are usually here for, which is DDO, because it's what I'm most knowledgeable and skilled at, and what I've streamed the most of, so it's what viewers kind of expect. And that's just kind of how things are. It's how I am as a viewer as well. If there's someone that I watch for their content on a particular game, and they're playing a different game, I might tune in, but I might not. So that's just how entertainment goes. People are going to choose what is most entertaining for them, or educational, depending on what you're trying to get out of your content, or what you're trying to watch at the time. But oh, we're pacified again. There we go. Oh, that was a relatively large crit. Well, for this build at least. If you're on something with like high crit multi-attacks or two-handed fighting or whatnot, then you can get much bigger crits than that much earlier. Something like Paladin with Enhanced Smite, which has an extra, I think, 2x crit multi on it. You can get some big swings real early on in the game. But we are on the attack fast for smaller amounts build, so we are attacking fast for smaller amounts. Though we could probably get a significant amount of benefit from trying to squeeze out a couple of imbue dice somewhere. Because right now, I think we're on 1 imbue dice. There we go. A little bit of healing. Anyone over here gonna ambush me? No? How about on this side? No? Alright. And run real fast so we don't get hit by the ballista. Because the ballista is annoying. It does a bunch of damage and it slows you. Like the crippling hit from these archers is also annoying. Alright, room number 2. Locked. Oh, there was one more. There we go.
The sound of stone grinding against stone echoes from the north.
You know, at some point I'm gonna have to wonder if it is worth it to rage for the 4 decks, or if it would be more effective to not rage and then use bluff so I get sneak dice. Because I have a decent number of sneak dice, I think. Like 6? Yeah, I've got 6 sneak dice. So I'm thinking that as long as it's something that can be bluffed, and I can succeed in the bluff, bluff is stronger, because that's an extra 66 on hit, as opposed to an extra 2. Now, of course, I can't sneak attack these earth golems anyway, so... Oh, hello, a plague reaper. Oh, did I say earth golems? Earth elementals. Wait, I can, if I do that. Well, they made their save, or I missed, so I can't actually do that, but hope springs eternal. Alright, I have not successfully removed its immunity to sneak attack. Come on, let me up here so I can hit it. Precision. Precision cannot be... I know you can rage and power attack. Otherwise, all barbarians would be very, very sad. And I know that rage turns off... Alright, where's the 4th elemental? Is it hiding in a corner somewhere? Oh, there it is. But I know that it turns off defensive stances, like the Paladin defensive stance. And it uncenters you.
His elementals have failed. The cleric drops his magical wards to attack.
Okay.
Romag, curate of the Earth
Grab the key, grab the loot.
falls silent.
Alright, and we're out of sprint boost charges, so we'll just have to walk slowly to the end of the dungeon.
The Earth Temple
Well, not that slowly.
begins to quiver
As
and shake. It
as
seems
Chai was saying earlier,
strangely drawn to the center.
I have the benefit of having move speed, whereas many people at low levels, if they're new to the game, do not, particularly if they don't know how valuable it is to get the clicky boots from Korthos. There we go. Nice, easy 20k. And now we're on to part 2, which is even better. Not as good as if you have multiple people and you can split, but better nonetheless. What was I going to do beforehand? I was thinking I needed to do something beforehand. Something inventory related? I'll remember it later. Probably when it doesn't matter anymore is when I'll remember it. Let's see.
The strong winds circulating this chamber suggest that this is, or was.
What do I need to do as far as resists go? I guess we'll put up lightning resist since we're going to the air temple, but I think the main thing I'm worried about here is actually poison, not lightning. Does Magic Fang do anything? It should, yes, because technically I'm a shifter. So I believe it works on normal weapons when you're a shifter.
Have taken over these quarters.
Oh boy. That sudden hit for 60 was a surprise. I mean, we can check. Like, it says it has Magic Fang on it. So, it should be +3 enhancement at this point, which is why it's +11. And, like, if we look at... yeah, that's like +8 because it has Magic Fang on it. And we look at other stuff at that level or close to that level and it's +2. So... well, 3 of it's going to come from this, and 3 of it's going to come from Magic Fang. So my weapons at the moment have like +6 to their stuff. Enhancement level. Right.
In the corner of this cold, dark room. Hell no. The last cleric of the air temple.
All right.
On the wall above this rune is a small etching in the shape of a key.
Okay, so it says it makes them vulnerable to sneak attack, but I've actually pulled up the combat log, and it doesn't say, like, you sneak attack X for Y damage. So we'll see if that actually works or not.
The winds circling the room rush faster as the key is taken from the altar.
Oh. Well, I failed to check that time, so it makes sense that he is not being made vulnerable. Alright, so I grabbed the key here. We'll pay money for the red one. And by red do I mean fire. Because the fight is annoying.
This chamber is much warmer than the outside.
So this is 25,000 platinum, which is basically nothing.
Sits a small, cracked basin.
Hi.
Your tribute honors us.
It does mean that you don't get loot from that chest, but I'm not too concerned about the loot. Also, Temple of Elemental is one of those that if you have Reaper points, gets much easier to run Reaper than Elite because of the extra healing you get. Because every time you go through a transition screen like that, you get healed. Okay, off we go. Now, this section would be much better if I were ranged, because fighting a cube, shall we say, is not
As
great
you fill the pool,
when you are
the
melee.
disappears.
In fact, because we're going to have swapped to our ooze beater weapons as well. Alright, and yeah, we can look at these. So that's +4, +5. +7, +8.
Adherents of the water temple pray softly in this small chamber. A small piece of metal glints. The room begins to shake, and a shimmering wall appears at the entrance to the chamber.
Okay. So, fun fact. It's not attacking me because it's trying to eat these guys first. So, if you want to make it easier for yourself, attack the cube, not the humans. Even though humans are very easy to kill because they're just sitting there at like no health. If you can restrain your murderous urges for just a moment, you can make the fight easier by choosing what you want to kill in what order. Have ourselves some buffs going. There we go. Nice soul. Oh, and of course, if you're a caster, going through the loading screens also gives you spell points back. So you have not been forgotten. It's just that it's not relevant to my build this time because it's just not. I only use them for healing, and even then, it's not a ton. There we go. Now, we have all the keys. We can ignore some gargoyles. And be on our way. Maybe we should have killed the gargoyles. I do want to hit the XP for killing 50 guys. And I'll be just barely there, probably. It's not worth going around extra to kill 100, but just making sure you get to the 50 is usually worth it, because you're going to be close anyway, just from running the quest. Unless, of course, you get altars and stuff instead of group. Oh, never mind. There's a group here as well. Let's see. We still need to kill 14 more. The boss fight is 6. So we basically need 2 more packs between us and them. And that is pretty likely. So I'll check through here just in case. There's one right on the other side of this doorway. Nope. Have it around the corner? Nope. Okay. We might not hit it after all. There are 4 possible spawn points between now and the boss. There are 2 in this room down the stairs.
The 4 barriers dispatched. The way into
And then there are 1 spawn point on either side of the boss's room. So let's see if we get them. Okay. Alright. Almost there. As I said, there are 6 guys in the end fight. We need to kill 1 more person, place, or thing. We need to kill a noun, basically. Verbs will not work. We cannot kill, like, fighting. We need to kill a person, place, or thing. Mostly person or thing. Places, not so much. Besides, they're harder to kill.
The The stony visages in this room.
All right,
suggest
so
this is the entryway.
we are recasting buffs. We are putting up all of our elemental protection nonsense, just in case. And putting up both resist and protection is handy because the resist spell and the protection spell both have like a 2 or 3 second cooldown on them. So going from one to the other just lets us cast all of them without having to wait. Excuse you. I was buffing. How dare you? Now, the fact that we got that, that altar is going to help us a lot. That's, as you saw, it's doing a lot of extra frost damage on hit. So, we've got that going for us. The other thing we have to hope is that we have to hope he doesn't bug and sit up there just casting spells at us. Because that's a giant pain.
I know why you have come, his voice. But you're too late. Using the arcane power of the page I discovered, Zuggitmoy
Hi.
is nearly free.
Coming over here.
Makes a gesture. Elementals appear.
There we go. Fire down first. Fire down second. Then we'll get water. And then we have to drag Earth over into Water's section because you can't damage Earth in Earth's section. Or any of them in their own section, for that matter.
Take care of them.
Come on. Oh, Peach saw me. If you stay far enough back, then you don't have to worry about that. He won't aggro until you walk forward slightly. Peach used to be red named, not like the kind of orange-ish named. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for coming down. As you can see, he's highly resistant to elemental damage, as you would expect a boss in the Temple of Elemental Evil to be. He took no extra damage from any of my elemental damage on hit, but he did take extra from the holy damage on hit. So, we have that, which is handy.
Falrinth's chambers are dimly lit. On a table in the middle of the room, if Falrinth's
Alright, we
journals
grab
to be
that. We
believed,
grab the page, we grab the
demon
skull,
Zuggitmoy has nearly been freed.
and we can be on our way. Then we just go to the end. So, I've always liked Temple of Elemental Evil, excuse you. But particularly after they redid it, the upper portions here are quite good as far as XP is concerned. Now, that said, you do need to be able to handle what's in here. And in particular, in the next section, like if you want to do the next 5 quests, you do need a relatively strong build, and even better if you're in a group where you can split. They're not that good XP if you can't split. But you will notice that this second part in particular gives a ridiculous amount of XP. Like it was 40k there. We're gonna... Actually, I don't usually do this, but I want to actually test. How much is it for a rerun on Elite?
The strong winds circulating this chamber suggest
And I'll note, of course, that this part can get even faster
air temple.
if you, say, have a group. So one person comes and does this, one person goes and does the ooze in blue in the water section, and so on and so forth.
House those faithful to the air temple. Now, the air temple is in disarray, and orcs have taken over these quarters.
Okay. And you'll see that Elite, while we don't get our auto healing all the time, we do get lots more damage.
Air temple robes stands huddled in the on the wall above the shrine is a small etching in the shape of a key. Elno, the last cleric of the air today, falls to the ground.
Okay.
You search him carefully, but you don't find the air temple key.
And
on
we
his
run.
person.
Lots of running. But we'll see how fast, because I didn't actually check the time it took us on the last run.
The air temple keys.
Oh, I need to sneeze.
Circling the room, rush faster as the key is taken from the altar.
Excuse you. There we go. Now, you don't actually need to fight him. Especially if you have, like, Dimension Door, you can just run in, grab the key, and D-door out. And it does not matter. You're fine. There we go. Sneak attack for 161.
This chamber is much warmer than the outside.
No groups in here to fight. Just some money to pay, as before.
On the altar sits
Quick talk with the priest. Quick payment.
Your tribute honors.
And we're out.
The prefect says, bowing. Soon, all
And
will
off we go.
bend the knee to fire, or die in their stubborn.
So let's see what we can do. I probably shouldn't have used that there because I'm going to be fighting this group. I suppose I need to like actually wear a bluff item or a charisma item if I want to have my bluffs actually land.
The air in this room is almost uncomfortably cool.
Because I have been trying to like bluff because I'm choosing to not rage so I can try to bluff and get sneak attack, but my bluff isn't high enough.
As you fill the pool,
Because
the
bluff
barrier disappears.
is not a skill or not a class skill
Adherents
for
of
us.
the water temple pray
So
softly
unlike
in
rogues
this small
that
chamber.
get
The room
full
begins to
bluff.
shake, and a shimmering wall appears at the entrance to the chamber.
There we go. It wants to eat the sacrifices first. And of course, this is another place that you can speed things up dramatically if you have Dimension Door, because you can skip this whole section. You just grab the key and you leave. You don't have to pull these levers, you don't have to do anything. You just grab the key, you D-door out, you go to the end. And you miss some kills that way, obviously, but compared to the amount of time you save by not having to go through these extra rooms, it is undoubtedly worth it. Alright, more sprint boosting, which is probably wasted because we had to stop by a door on the way. And a little bit more making use of the animation delay on Whirlwind Attack there, as you saw that I hit it long before I got close to the mobs. Because, well, it's got a long duration, and the time between when I hit it and when it hits them is significant, so we can move during that window. You will note that we are almost at 50 kills already, because we've gotten essentially more enemies this time, because the spawns in here are random. Like, sometimes you get enemies there, sometimes you get traps there, sometimes you get breakables there. Like, and you don't know which until you actually run the quest. There we go. Got some bluff damage down. Alright, there's another pack there. That'll bring me... Oh, there's a double pack here. Okay. Fortunately, these guys are relatively weak. Come on. There we go. We're still not going to get enough kills to hit 100, though. I don't think even if every group spawned from here to the end, there would be enough for 46 kills by the time we kill the boss. So we grab this, we got that. We open the door, and we are off to the races. Which means I'm actually going to run past groups here. Unless there are enough of them to give me Dungeon Alert, because I don't want to fight the boss with Dungeon Alert. Alright, so, oh, yep, we got a double spawn. Double spawn means probable Dungeon Alert. So, we will take things out. There we go. I will note, as far as re-gearing that we'll be able to do soon, at level 11, we get new boots. New boots of I don't take damage anymore. The 15 damage reduction boots, which would be particularly effective here in Elite because they are less effective in Reaper. And they're also technically less effective on Elite as well than they would be in normal or hard, just because flat damage reduction is most effective against small hits, which should come as a surprise to no one. Like, taking $5 off on a car versus $5 off on a burger, well, which one are you getting the bigger benefit on? $5 off on a burger usually means free burger. Okay, I was thinking like cheap fast food burger. I'm sure that there are lots of places that a burger is more than $5. But if you can get the reduction pre-tax, and then the tax is a percentage of the zero that you paid, then that's just a free money glitch, as the kids say. Although, from what I understand, the last time the youth were talking about a free money glitch, what it actually was check fraud. So, I suppose fraud and theft are a form of free money, but not usually for the best. They usually have side effects. Oh good, you jumped down this time too. Alright, there we go. Ballrinth down. So now we get to see how much XP the second run gives. As you can see, it's clearly much lower, both because we're not in Reaper, it's not our first time of the day, and it's not our first time this life running the quest. But it was also much faster. So this time, before leaving the quest, we'll actually look at like how long it took and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so here we go. Head it out. Place skull on pedestal. Alright, 18k instead of like 41. But it's 18k in 9 minutes. So, it's not great. But if we consider that last time it probably took us maybe 10 or 11 minutes, and it was 40k, it's significant. But that does bring us to just about midnight, which is just about time to end stream. So let me see if I can't find someone to raid y'all out to, and we'll see what we can do from there. Alright, finish this up. Yes. Yes, finish that up. Who is on? It is a Thursday. New player, old MMO. It looks like we have a tourist. Someone who is new to DDO. So let's go drop in and give them a welcome to DDO.
Yeah, dude. Sure, I'll get right on that, man. Yeah, that was IGT. Sounds like IGT. Yeah, some IGT shit.
Looks like he's got a party going too, so maybe we can help multiple people at once. Of course, I won't be hanging on too long since it's late here, but thank you everyone for stopping by, for hanging out, for chatting, for lurking, for all of that. We got done what we planned on. We got through all of Dread, we got through Temple of Elemental Evil, and as a bonus, we did the Sentinels chain in House D. So we made more progress than expected. We went from level 9 to able to take 11 if we want it. And our next scheduled stream will be next Tuesday. We might have a stream in the interim, we might not. You can follow if you want to get notifications and all that stuff. All the call to action stuff, like, comment, subscribe, etc., 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 etc. Thank you everyone for stopping by. We're going to raid out to Hot Kittens, who appears to be new to the game. So let's give him a warm welcome to DDO. And thank you all again for stopping by. Good night.
Thanks for the raid. Welcome in. Appreciate it. It's both? It's not putting a hot on me.